What's going on? It is Rick Kamla. It is Hall of Famer Steve Alexander with the late night fantasy goodies here. Fantasy NBA today, Sports Ethos After Dark. Yo. Doc, really fun night of basketball, bro. I can't wait to talk about that Cleveland-Houston game. What's up, dude? How you living?
Dude, I texted you today when I got the news that the New Orleans game was canceled due to snow, and I said, Zion figured out a way not to play. And didn't hear back from you. I thought you were gonna send me back just laughing as you were just gonna be rolling on the ground laughing, but it really wasn't that funny. I'm good, man. Great night of hoops. Some incredible performances and some interesting stuff. I'm ready to get into it. At
Yeah, man.
After Dark.
Zion was probably like, I don't have to tussle. I don't have to tussle with Zion Williamson, or Giannis Antetokounmpo tonight. So that game was postponed. It'll be made up at a later date and all that kind of stuff. And before we dive in to our breakdown of this tasty Wednesday night slate, we want to tell you about our great sponsor, Bet Online. They continue to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds in everything from football, the NBA, college basketball, NHL, and UFC, BetOnline is the number one sports betting source for the new year. From touchdowns to three-pointers to hat tricks, BetOnline has you covered on every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. We start with our Magic Man of the night. Doc, who you got from this Wednesday night?
This was pretty easy. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander became the first Oklahoma City player to score over 50 points since Russell Westbrook did it in 2017. He hit 17 of 35 shots, 3 3-pointers, 17 of 18 free throws, had 54 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, and he only turned the ball over 3 times. He's my pick for MVP right now. He's probably everybody's pick for MVP. He's the best player on the best team, and he pops. He has pop games. Jason Tatum, great player on a very good team, but he just doesn't pop like this guy does. SGA is out of his mind.
He's my MVP. The only way this is, the record is what it is, Doc. The numbers are crazy for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Doc, to me, the only way Jokic can beat him for MVP is average a triple-double and become the third guy to do it in a season. But I know how these voters think. Most of them aren't as enamored of the triple-double as us fantasy freaks. So I don't think that that's going to help Jokic as much as it would maybe for me. Because if Jokic averages a triple-double, now you look at the record and maybe OKC's separation over Denver is so cavernous that it overcomes, SGA not averaging a triple-double and Jokic averaging a triple-double. But these are the thoughts that I have about this award. It's a 9-game separation right now between OKC and Denver. So even if Jokic averaged a triple-double, I still think it's SGA. And Doc, with the 54-point performance here, I'll give you my Magic Man, but clearly we can share the Magic Man here of SGA.
We can.
Doc, the way he is playing, the way OKC is playing, best player, best team. Sometimes that's what the MVP is. Usually that's what the MVP is. Okay? And then you say, well, Cam, I think Cleveland's a little bit better than OKC. That's debatable based on the games that we've seen between those two teams. And also, Doc, think about this. Cleveland does not have an MVP candidate. Donovan Mitchell is not an MVP candidate. He's an all-star, but he's not an MVP candidate because you have Mitchell, you have Garland, you have Mobley, you have Allen. They have this core 4, and they spread the wealth so well, right? So then getting back to SGA, Doc, he might win the scoring title as well. Check this out. with the 54-point performance. Coming into Wednesday, he and Giannis were tied at 31.5, okay? In one night, he went up a half point per game, okay? So the ball is in Giannis's court now to hit him back with a 50 and then spike back up. So right now, it is SGA at 32 PPG, Giannis at 31.5 PPG. I'm sorry, Doc. I don't know what the Stephen A. Smiths and the Kendrick Perkins are saying about this kind of stuff, but dang it, SGA is the MVP of this basketball league.
He is. And people are going to remember this game. And who did they get tomorrow? It's Dallas, right?
Correct. At home.
Dude, I could see him doing it again. I could see SGA going off again for some crazy numbers against the defense of Kyrie Irving and whoever else you're going to throw out there at him. This is SGA time, and it's time for him to go out and separate himself and win the award, because there's no doubt, dude, Jokic has been amazing. I did not think he was going to be just as good, if not better, than Victor Wembanyama in the big man categories and playing their all-around game that they play, but he has been. The other part of this is Oklahoma City was supposed to be this good. Like, we knew they were going to be this good. Nobody really saw Cleveland doing what Cleveland is doing, and I still kind of think the other shoe is going to drop at some point, and Cleveland's going to cool off. I don't think Oklahoma City's cooling off. They're just going to keep doing this till the very end of the season. And I think they're going to finish several games ahead of Cleveland. And it's going to bury that, Cleveland argument. But it is kind of interesting that Cleveland is this good. They don't even have an MVP candidate. Weird.
Probably have the best core four in the league, though. And they rely on that. Look, SGA needs to pop and get one of these things, dude. He got robbed of most improved player when they gave it to Lauri Markkanen, one of the stupidest award voting processes I've ever seen. And then last year, SGA was my MVP over Nikola Jokic, and, Jokic won it again, third time in 4 years. So, I just think it's time, Doc. And a lot of times, you've got to knock on the door, suffer those defeats, be a runner-up. You think about Joel Embiid on his way up to MVP, right? He was a runner-up, and then boom, it's your year. That's how it goes. I think it's SGA's year right now. I really do. And you have OKC winning it all, right? And did you not have OKC winning it all coming into the season?
OKC beating New York. That's what I had.
Is that still your prediction, or would you say OKC over Cleveland right now?
I mean, I'm not unhappy having New York. New York's very good.
So you're hanging in there with that. You're not changing.
I mean, I think Cleveland or Boston are probably better bets than New York, but I don't hate my New York pick.
Totally agree with that. I think Cleveland and Boston are at another level than New York right now. New York needs a shot in the arm, Doc. They need a syringe.
They need
syringe.
They need a 2-week break.
No, they don't, Doc. They need a syringe. And in that syringe, they need the essence of Jordan Clarkson. They need a just syringe Jordan Clarkson into their veins, and they will be fine. They need scoring punch off the bench, man. I'm going to say it until February 6th with our huge extravaganza of trade deadline coverage right here, Fantasy NBA Today on our YouTube channel. We will be here all day, hanging and banging. Kate Cunningham, Doc, is my magic man. If I got to offshoot and give the people another one that's not named SGA here, I'm going to go with Kate Cunningham. And again, I've gone with Kate a lot. I've gone with Kat a lot because it's the stats, but it's also the how. It's also the when. It's also the force that you feel like they're taking over games and they're winning games again and again and again and again. Cade Cunningham again here tonight at Atlanta. Good team. Trae Young playing. Jalen Johnson playing. Atlanta healthy. And he went in there and he had 29 points, 6 rebounds, 11 assists, 2 blocks, 1 steal, 1 3. shot 12 of 19. That's leader. That's alpha. That's get on my back. I got this. Doc, I'm telling you right now, if Cade Cunningham is not an all-star, I'm going to freak out. Okay? I'm going to freak out. What, Doc, I know he hasn't done it before. I know he's never even been on the all-star radar before. Who cares? Okay? If you've been paying any attention to the NBA this year, I like what you said on last night's show. Detroit's the number one surprise in the league. They're more surprising than Cleveland, Doc. Cleveland won 99 games the last 2 years. We knew Cleveland was going to be good. This good? No. Okay? But Detroit came from they won 18 games last year, Doc. They've already passed their win total from last year, I think. I mean, my God, they're in 6th place right now. That has to be honored. And Cade Cunningham, every single night, is putting up a Grant Hill stat line out there, dude. He's got to be an all-star.
He should be. And to your point, Trae Young hit 5 of 13 shots, scored 13 points. The Hawks got blown out. They were down 10 after the first quarter. They were down 18 at halftime. They were still down 22 at the end of the third quarter. They just kept building on the lead. And the Hawks basically were at full strength. I don't think the fact that Zach Risachet did not play in this game is the reason the Hawks were down 20 the whole time. It's because Trae Young didn't pop and Cade Cunningham did. And this might be his signature game that gets him into the All-Star game.
It was a great look, Doc, for Cade individually. And let's move on to our breakdown of that game. Monster win for the Detroit Pistons. We told you on Tuesday night that if Detroit won this game, they were going to leapfrog Atlanta. And in fact, that happened. And in fact, they did. Right now, okay, and let me just refresh the standings just to make sure some team didn't disrupt this. I want to be perfectly accurate with our numbers here. Detroit is in 6th place and Atlanta is in 7th place. Detroit is now a half game ahead of Atlanta. So there you go. Detroit is in 6th place right now. We missed on the Trae Young. I gave you the point and assist combo for him. He had 13 and 9, so that was an under right there. But I did give you the point over for Cade Cunningham. Actually, I gave you the PRA over, and he went 29, 6, and 11, and definitely hit the over on that. Doc, we also got to talk about the center matchup here because we both were excited to watch Jalen Duren and Onyeka Okongwu. And think about this. Duren got the win in the box score and the scoreboard. Jalen Duren had another big game, 14 and 12, 2 assists, 2 blocks. Onyeka was pretty good, not great. 9 and 10, 3 assists, 1 block, 1 steal. But dude, Jalen Duren is flexing right now. And he's a guy that I write about in the Sell High Buy Low article on sportsethos.com. And it is a buy low. And buy low is sort of a phrase that we use. Clearly he's surging right now. But I'm just encouraging you guys, to make a run at him. Maybe his manager is sleeping on him a little bit. See if you can go get a Jalen Duren. Doc, I would trade Walker Kessler right now for Jalen Duren. And I don't want to do that because Kessler is doing the same double-double with the 2.5 blocks. Duren's not even close to the 2.5 blocks. But I fear a shutdown from Kessler. And I know that Jalen Duren's going to be kicking ass the whole rest of the year as Detroit continues to make this playoff push.
Would you trade your guy Luka Doncic for your guy Cade in a heartbeat?
Luka Doncic for who?
Cade.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't even have to think about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's something we talk about on tomorrow's show. And we didn't mention Cade, but yeah, I think I would. I think I would do that. If I had Luka and I didn't know if he was ever going to play again and Cade's not going anywhere and his team's freaking 23 and 21. I think Brewski has a bet on Detroit's winning coach of the year. it's starting to look possible, right? I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, but what if they keep winning games? I don't know. To the center matchup, I did say Atlanta had an advantage there because they not only have Onyeka, but they also have Capella, and both of them basically doubled. Onyeka had 9 and 10 with a steal and a block. Capella had 16 and 10 with a steal and 2 blocks. That's a two-headed monster that's going to be good for them down the stretch. I think that's good for the Hawks that they have two guys that can play center. It may not be great for Okongwu's fantasy managers because Capella's going to be eating into him, but it's good for the Hawks.
Clint Capella's been activated since he got benched. It like woke him up. The lines are way better for Capella than they were as he was in this like coma as a starter. He like anesthetized himself. You know what I mean? Like the stat lines were just like, bro, 8 and 8 with no blocks. I mean, he went like several games without blocking a shot. Clint Capella, he's blocking shots now. He's doubling now. I think it woke him up just in time to be traded, Doc. At which point, Okongwu will really be unleashed. Andre Lamouche is telling us that the bet is J.B. Bickerstaff for Coach of the Year, and Brewski covered it with the Pistons over, so he is cashing in that one. J.B. for Coach of the Year. I mean, I like the sounds of it. He's in the running. To me, Kenny Atkinson won this award with the 15-0 start to the year, and it will be, to me, a big upset if Kenny Atkinson does not win Coach of the Year. He's beloved in the NBA. Everybody loves Kenny Atkinson. Okay, that includes voters, media members. He's just a really, really charismatic guy that way. J.B. Bickerstaff, I'm a huge fan of his. Is he a charismatic guy that way? He's not. He's not. Okay. Kenny A is a more media-friendly coach, and I think that matters. But the bottom line is, Doc, what Kenny Atkinson's doing with Cleveland is historic, and stuff like that wins awards, okay? Think about Ime Udoka in Houston for Coach of the Year for a minute, okay? In a lot of years, he'd be at the top of the list. The spike that Houston's taking up to number 2 in the West, who saw that coming? No one. So you got him doing an awesome job. You've got J.B. Bickerstaff doing an awesome job. There's, Taylor Jenkins in Memphis has done a phenomenal job with that team. So there's some really good jobs out there, man, for Coach of the Year. But I think Kenny A has a stranglehold on that award right now. Hey, Doc, since we're on the topic of awards here, 6th Man of the Year, right? And Peyton Pritchard, like Kenny Atkinson, got off to such a great start. I think he almost buried the voting in that too soon. And he plays for the Celtics, the defending champs. But Malik Beasley and DeAndre Hunter went toe-to-toe in this game. Me and Doc both told you on Tuesday that we'd rather have Beasley. He went 19, Hunter went 10. And Doc, I don't think, to me, Beasley has an even better 6th Man of the Year case than DeAndre Hunter right now. Based on the consistency of 20-point games, based on the ascension of Detroit, based on the fact that he's a huge reason why Detroit is as good as they are, okay? Is he going to be Peyton Pritchard? Most likely not. But I may get to a point, Doc, where I'm like, I get it, Peyton Pritchard has been really, really good, but Malik Beasley has passed him for 6th Man of the Year. I'm just saying, I have not put that race to bed yet, and I think Malik Beasley has a chance to win this award.
He does. I think it's a 3-man race right now. It's Pritchard, it's Beasley, and it's Hunter. And Pritchard got off to a great start, but Pritchard has not popped for a minute. And I don't know what he's done tonight. I haven't looked at it. I did see he was 2 of 2 from the field with 4 points, which means he hadn't hit a 3-pointer. So that was crazy. But he needs to start popping again, or these guys are going to catch him. Now, Hunter was terrible tonight. We haven't even talked about that, have we? 2 of 14, 0 of 9 from downtown, 10 points. That was disappointing, and that's more good news for Malik Beasley, who had a good game. 5 triples, 17 points, and a win.
Malik
I think
Beasley's
it's going to
been
be a
fantastic.
pretty close race at the end for that award.
It should be, man. It's Fantasy NBA Today. Rick Kamla and Hall of Famer Steve Alexander with y'all. Our producer Andre Lemouche as well. The Kevin Durant Bowl went to Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns. No surprise there. Unfortunately, we talked about a Kevin Durant overprop. The blowout factor ruined that. And we did talk about maybe a blowout factor in this game. Durant, 24 points, 8 of 15. We also, though, told you that Devin Booker was primed for an explosive bounce back game after a terrible game the game before. He had 32 on 14 of 24. So at the very least there, we got a split. Nick Richards, Doc, went 8 and 15 tonight. Not great. He didn't have any blocks, but it was a lot better than the previous game. And we do both anticipate Nick Richards to have a lot of fat stat lines from here to the end of the season. And then we got a silly season sneak peek from Keon Johnson, who's been terrible, frankly, in fantasy over the last week. He went back up with a bunch of guys resting to 20 points, 7 rebounds. He had a steal, he had a 3. And those are the lines he's going to have in March and April. Problem is, for me, it's not March or April yet, and the Nets are still playing some of their guys. What you got on Phoenix's victory over Brooklyn?
I was glad to see Booker bounce back. I said that he would. I think we both said he would. Kevin Durant sat on 24 points and 8 rebounds for what seemed like the entire second half. Every time I refreshed or looked at that, Kevin Durant has 24 points. Kevin Durant has 24 points. He must have sat most of the fourth quarter in that game, which makes sense because they won by 24. Nice win for Phoenix, I guess. I don't know what Ryan Dunn is doing. I don't know what Tyus Jones is doing. And the Brooklyn side, this is just a silly season preview. Like, I don't even know what you do with Brooklyn. It's just going to be a different D-League guy every night stepping up and going off. Tonight it was Keon, which I was glad to see because he'd been struggling. I said he was going to bounce back. He did. Jalen Wilson is a guy. Noah Clowney is a guy. Tyrese Martin is a guy. Derek Whitehead was leading this team in scoring at one point pretty early in the game. So all those guys are going to be waiver wire pickups when March gets here. Maybe before that. Maybe in 10 days.
So, Doc, really good game went down tonight between Minnesota and Dallas. The Wolves won this one in Big D. Huge regular season game. The head-to-head tiebreaker was on the line here, won, of course, by Minnesota. They came in 1-1. Thanks, Luca. But Minnesota wins that head-to-head tiebreaker. And check this out. Coming into the game, Dallas was in 7th place. Minnesota was in 9th place. After this Minnesota win, Minnesota's in 8th place. Dallas is in 9th place, okay? So Minnesota leapfrogged Dallas with this victory here tonight, which is big. And Doc, I know a lot of our audience members want us to talk about Jaden McDaniels. He had a huge game tonight, 27 points. He was the difference in the game. And look, a lot of Wolves played well tonight. Their entire starting 5 played well. Nas Reed played well off the bench. But this was the Jaden Daniels game. But don't get too excited about this, okay? He is a streamer. He is nothing more than a streamer. In reality, he's a stud, okay? You need a long 3-and-D guy like Jaden McDaniels. I'm talking about fantasy basketball. He's not a stud in fantasy basketball. He's a streamer in fantasy basketball. And if you streamed him tonight, boom, you popped. Don't go for Jaden McDaniels in the next game. He's going to have 8 points and 9 rebounds and a 3 and a steal, okay? That's what he does. I didn't think he was going to have a great game tonight. He proved me wrong with this huge 27-point game. And he is, Doc, he's highly paid. He's a young ascending player. But I think people assume that he's going to become a box score guy. And this year with this construction of the Minnesota Timberwolves, he is not consistently going to become a box score guy.
I agree with almost everything you said. Dude, the fact that he had 4 steals and 3 blocks along with his career high 27 points, along with the game clinching free throws to win the game by 1 point at Dallas. That is all very good stuff for Jaden McDaniels, who really has never popped, right? He popped. Like, that's Magic Man material if SGA doesn't go off. And we really studied the box scores. I mean, I wouldn't have had a problem calling McDaniels my Magic Man of the night. This also tells me what happens when Dallas doesn't have Luka. And I'm telling you, SGA is going to set Dallas on fire tomorrow. And it's not going to be good. Anthony Edwards, 6 of 19 again. Every night, dude. It's what he does. Every night.
We did not get the Rob Dillingham game that we were looking for. He'd been good in 3 straight. This was a dud here against Dallas. So leave him on waivers. He's still in the streamer department. Kyrie Irving went off 36 and 9. In the previous 2 meetings, he averaged 37 a game. So he's going off every game against Minnesota. And then we get the Derek Lively news, Doc. Diagnosed with a stress fracture in his right ankle, not a fractured right foot, but it is a stress fracture. That's a buzzkill. Shams Charania gave likely a 2 to 3 month recovery. His season might be over, despite the fact he'll be reevaluated in 4 weeks. And do you remember those trade rumors about Daniel Gafford? It seems they've gone away, Doc.
They can't trade him now. They need him, and he's going to ball out the rest of the way. Like, if you can get your hands on Daniel Gafford, do it. Shot blocking machine. He's going to be awesome. And also, with Dante DiVincenzo's toe injury, that is one of the biggest buzzkills I've experienced this year. He was just starting to go. He was just starting to take off. With him out, I guess he's out indefinitely. I didn't read any updates on him today, but Mike Conley started, had 18 points, 5 boards, 8 assists, 2 steals, 4 threes. Again, that may be more of a nod to how bad Dallas is defensively right now than it is how good Conley is. But there's nobody else to play point guard for Minnesota because they're not going to play Rob Dillingham, apparently. Like, I don't know why we're not playing Rob Dillingham. But if Conley got cut, which he got cut in a ton of leagues, pick him back up.
Yeah, and I'm not there with Conley. I think Mike Conley had a really good game, a really efficient game against right now a really crummy Dallas team, super shorthanded team. And I think Rob Dillingham would have played more, but Conley was making shots, and Conley was playing very, very well tonight. And it's a road game at Dallas, tough place to play, and you usually don't go with rookies in that environment. It wouldn't surprise me if Dillingham got 22 minutes in the next game and Conley got like 24 minutes in the next game. I'm just saying. I cannot share your zeal for Mike Conley.
I don't have a ton of zeal, but I just don't feel like they're going to not hand the keys over to the rookie. I think Conley's going to play until DiVincenzo comes back, and he's had 8 assists in 2 straight games. So I'm at least willing to take a flyer on Conley if I've got somebody to drop. That's all.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. So, guys, we thank you for listening to the Fantasy NBA Today podcast here on sportsethos.com. We want you to go to that website, sportsethos.com, and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a 5-star review. It really helps us out. And thank you all for checking us out on our YouTube channel, the Fantasy NBA Today. Cleveland at Houston, and what a game this was. Another statement by my Rockets. The Cavaliers suffered their 7th loss of the season. Houston is now 29-14. They stay a half game ahead of Memphis, who won their game tonight, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Crazy game, all right? Darius Garland missed 2 free throws with the game on the line and basically gave the game to Houston. Closing seconds, Garland goes up for a 3, fouled by Tari Eason, Rockets up 2. Garland's at the line for 3 free throws. Misses the first 2, then made the third, so the Cavs were down 1. And then off of the technical foul called on Eason for being under his landing space, they got the rock back. but Mitchell and Garland missed in the closing seconds, and the Rockets held on. Doc, crazy game. Cleveland went on a 19-0 run in the fourth quarter. Houston went 6+ minutes in the fourth quarter without scoring a point, okay? Yet it came down to the very end. Garland was 3 of 9 from the free throw line in this game. He's a 90% shooter on the year, and he had a huge smile on his face at the end of the game, like, I'm in the twilight zone. Like, what happened to me tonight? It was just a huge smile, like, are you serious right now? And Tari Eason, your guy, off the hook for what would have been a disastrous foul on Darius Garland, but I guess ball don't lie, dude, because Darius Garland chunked those free throws. Hell of a game, though, dude. Our Rockets get the win over the Cavs, brother.
Well, we said, be careful with Donovan Mitchell in this one because Houston plays D, man. Donovan Mitchell had 7 of 21 points, 7 of 21 shots for 19 points. And in addition to Darius Garland choking at the free throw line, because that's what that was. That was a choke. Alpi Şengün made 2 free throws that ended up winning the game. So Alpi had a double-double. That was cool. Fred VanVleet played well. Cam Whitmore somehow staying relevant despite Amen, Dylan Brooks, and Tari Eason all playing. Your guy still got 21 minutes, scored 16 points. That's kind of exciting. But yeah, what a game, man. This game lived up to all the hype we gave it last night.
It did. Very fun to watch, too. It was a game of runs. It was like, boom, and then, boom, and counterpunch, boom. It was just 2 heavyweights in the ring together, man. I want to shout out Alpi Şengün and Jared Allen. These 2 guys waged war. Do you hear me? WAR in the hole in this game. They were wrestling. They were climbing all over each other. They were banging into each other. They were scoring on each other. They were hooking on each other. Oh, my God, what a matchup, okay? Alpi got fouled by Jared Allen, made those 2 free throws that Doc was talking about. Alpi went 18, 11, and 4. Not awesome, but it's Cleveland, okay? So good stat line, good enough to win. Jared Allen was very, very good. 17 and 13, 3 assists, 3 blocks, 2 steals. And we know that if Evan Mobley is out, Jared Allen automatically goes up with the numbers. That is happening right now. Shout out to Fred VanVleet, Freddie V as they call him down in Houston. 26 points with 7 threes. And he had 2 threes to answer the 19-0 run that were just monstrous for Houston in this game. And Darius Garland, golly, can he shoot the rock, man. But Jared Allen and Şengün was worth the price of admission. What a ball game here. And another huge win for Houston. For Cleveland, you suffered a really tough, close loss on the road. Big deal. You move on to the next game. Doc, you were right about Memphis absolutely crushing the Memphis Grizzlies. But did they end up covering? Oh, no. Hey, Doc, I know you didn't have money on the game, but you were talking about
Memphis, Charlotte, right?
I maybe said that wrong. Memphis, Charlotte. If memory serves, you said last night that Memphis was a 12.5-point favorite in this game, and you were like, I like that. Okay, they ended up winning the game by 12. The problem is, Doc, okay, so they didn't cover. The problem is, and I'm not rubbing it in, the problem is, Doc, the fourth quarter was all garbage time, and that is a bad beat if you had money on the Grizzlies because they absolutely housed Charlotte tonight.
They did, and then Charlotte came back and won the fourth quarter by 10 points, and that kind of screwed up the whole thing. Maybe some people got it at 12. Maybe they pushed. I don't know, but yeah, that was kind of a buzzkill. But how about Mark Williams, dude, in a losing effort? Like, what is going on? 38 points, 9 boards, 5 assists. Oh, this is why you all liked him so much. I'm starting to get it.
38 points out of nowhere for Mark Williams, who is fast rising up the charts on Basketball Monster. Let me get, oh my God, he's all the way up to 54 right now. on the strength of this big game, Doc. For the season, he's at 16 points, 9 rebounds, 1.1 blocks, 2.3 assists, shooting 63% from the field, and he's doing all of that in 23 minutes per game. Now, obviously, the minutes per game have gone way up, and the stats have gone way up. That's his season stat line right now. He's 16-9 with 1.1 blocks in 23 minutes. That is getting it done on a per minute basis, man. So shout out to Mark Williams, dude. And I don't think Charlotte's going to shut him down, Doc. I'm not sure they're going to shut anybody down. Like, they're tired of losing. But for Mark Williams, he didn't even play last year. He missed a bunch of time earlier this year. Like, don't shut him down. This guy needs to play, okay? Now, on the Memphis side, Doc, Ja Morant and LaMelo Ball was very good, all right? Ja Morant, 16 and 13 with goodies. He had a block, 3 steals, and 2 threes. We don't usually get fantasy gold like that from Ja. LaMelo Ball was fantastic, had 22 and 8 with 6 steals. What a freak show he is, dude. And I want to give a shout out to Desmond Bane, Doc. Desmond Bane is one of the hottest players in the NBA right now. He has now gone, let's see here. It's 5 straight with 20 or more. He's gone 21, 25, 21, 22, 22, and then 24 on Wednesday. So it's 6 straight games now with 20-plus points for Desmond Bane, who is rolling. And we told you earlier this year when he was off to the slow start, trade for Desmond Bane now because the best is yet to come. And he's killing it right now for Memphis.
You know, Bane, for me last year, Bane was this year's Norman Powell for me. Like, I went all in on Desmond Bane. I remember I did a draft with, no, it was 2 years ago. I did a draft at NBC, and one of the dudes that we were drafting with was like, I'm not feeling Desmond Bane like Doc is. Why would you take a guy like that, the 3rd round or something? He's throwing shade, and then Desmond Bane just came out and went off. But then he got hurt, and he's been dogged by injuries for a couple of years now, and he's healthy again. And this is Desmond Bane. Like, he can shoot it. He can play D. He can pass it. He's a really good player, man. I love Desmond Bane. And the
great all-around player.
The reason that Memphis was dominating this game so hard is it was a Luke Kennard game out of nowhere. 7 threes, 23 points, some goodies. That was weird, and I'm still not sure how it happened.
Because the guy's a great shooter. He's one of the best shooters in the history of the game. When you look at his percentage for his career, he's probably like a 42% guy for his career. But we know how this goes, Doc. He comes off the Memphis bench. He's going to have some big games. And if Ja Morant is out and if Desmond Bane is out, then Kennard's going to be more consistent. And we might even advocate picking him up off the waiver wire. But then the problem is with Luke Kennard. When you play him too many minutes, he gets hurt. Okay, he's a brittle player. He is not, ready for long minutes and all this kind of stuff. But he's a hell of a shooter, and he had a pop game. He's a streamer, Doc. That's all he is. Luke Kennard's a streamer off the waiver wire. Nothing more, nothing less.
He's having a nice January, though. He scored in double figures in all but 2 games this month. And he's banging threes. And those numbers are going to be his monthly average before tonight's game was 11 points, 4 boards, 4 assists, and 2 threes. Well, that's going up to like 15 points, 4 and 4, and 3.5 threes. Either way, if you need 3-pointers in your league and Luke Kennard's just sitting out there, give him a look, because I feel like he's universally ignored. But he's a damn good 3-point shooter, and he's actually having a really good month off the bench for Memphis.
I'm looking at the numbers right now. I can't. Dude, I'm not mad at you. And to me, he's on the roster bubble right now. But I still have him as a waiver wire guy. He's a streamer to me. Coming into tonight, the previous week, he was at 13, 5, and 3, no defense, and 2.7 threes. That's streamerville for me. In a 14-team league, that's rosterable. In a 12 or in a 10, that's streamerville for me. So I hear what you're saying, Doc. I'm not trying to be disagreeable here. I'm just not. I've done the Luke Kennard thing before. I've streamed him. I've tried to pick him up. It seems like every time I go into that, he gets hurt. It doesn't play a back-to-back. And it's the pop-up. Dude, here's what to look for. Here's my experience with Luke Kennard. Every time he has a game like this and gets you kind of excited, he misses the next game. I'm just saying, watch for that, okay? Especially, does Memphis play again on Thursday? Is this a back-to-back scenario?
I feel like everybody plays on Thursday.
I know there's a lot of back-to-back. Where's my sheet of paper? Hey, Nick Smith did not back us up here, Doc. He did not back us up with the goodies that we want. I'm looking here. Does Memphis play again on Thursday? They don't play on Thursday. So Friday will be the game that Luke Kennard does not play. But Doc, Nick Smith had 5 assists. He had a 3. I think he had a steal, but he only had 9 points. And he did not back up the previous 2 games. And I know a lot of our audience members wanted to know what we thought about Nick Smith. I just think he's a streamer, and good luck picking the right night. I'm not psyched about, people have to get him off waivers or anything like that.
Yeah, I think I trust Luke Kennard more than I trust Nick Smith. But anyway,
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
We got other games covered. Let's roll.
All right, dude. Milwaukee at New Orleans was postponed. So let's move on to Utah and Oklahoma City. We talked about SGA. Doc made him his Magic Man of the Night. We talked about the MVP race. We talked about the scoring race. Let's talk about Utah a little bit here, Doc. For whatever reason, Utah made the decision tonight to go for it. Okay, they said Cooper Flag can wait for one night, and they ended up taking a loss anyway here, which is kind of the point, right? These teams that want to lose can lose anyway, so why shut down their players? They can just play their guys and lose anyway. But anyway, Lauri Markkanen out of nowhere played. He'd missed the previous 4 games. John Collins had missed like a month or something. He came back and played tonight, played well. Colin Sexton missed however many games he missed, creating the revelation that is Isaiah Collier. But Sexton came back tonight, so Isaiah Collier shrunk down to fantasy nothingness. But don't drop Isaiah Collier. Usually I tell you to lily pad hop and go, the guys are healthy now, like Keon Johnson with Brooklyn. Drop him, send him back to waivers. But I am not sending Isaiah Collier's double walking in March and April. I am going to hang in there with Isaiah Collier right now, Doc. I've been picking him up all over the place, and I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe here. This is short-lived with Utah playing their guys, and I strongly recommend holding Isaiah Collier through this little period here.
Well, my big 3 in the column that came out today, the waiver wire column on Sports Ethos, Isaiah Collier was in it. And we didn't know all these guys were coming back. But guess what? We know John Collins is not going to finish out the season. We know Lauri Markkanen is not going to finish out the season. I don't expect Colin Sexton to, but he seems like he's kind of a gamer. Maybe he'll try. But they may shut him down anyway. Hang on to Collier. I'm totally in agreement there. He played 23 minutes. He just turned it over 6 times and only hit 3 shots.
Sexton is a gamer, man, but I don't think it matters. I think they're going to be like, yo, Colin, and they may trade him, but they're going to, Colin, come on over here. It's time for the young guys to play, because Utah and Washington, Doc, are in this tank. Those 2 squads have been in this tank for Cooper Flag for a long time, and I think they're going to continue to put the pedal to the metal and try to get Cooper Flag on their squads. All right, Doc. So OKC wins against Utah. Utah plays their guys. Good game, better than a lot of us thought. Golden State went to Sacramento, Doc. Big game, as we talked about on Tuesday, with this being the battle for North California. The teams were separated by 1 game coming in. Sacramento was ahead of Golden State, so now they've opened up a little bit of a separation there with this victory right here. For the Kings, Doc, wow, this is a box score. We told you to play Domantas Sabonis. He was going to be comfortable without Draymond Green, right? Draymond takes the bot out of Domas. No Draymond, big game from Domas. 26 and 18 with 3 assists. I also told you to go over on De'Aaron Fox, and I believe I said his PRA. I got that one wrong. He went 14, 5, and 5. But Domas was amazing. DeMar DeRozan stole the show tonight here, Doc. But you look at the starting 5 for Sacramento. Tell Steve Kerr, that's how a box score should look, Doc.
Yeah, it does look good, except our guys, Steph Curry and De'Aaron Fox, who I threw into a little prop parlay, did not exactly pop the prop. But yes, everybody in double figures for Sacramento. A huge win for them. Oh, my God. The Clippers just tied Boston with 4.2 seconds left. This could be costly for you, boy. Derrick Jones Jr. is just going crazy. And then there's been technicals, there's been flagrants, there's been incredible blocks. Like, this Boston Clippers game has totally distracted me from the show. That's how good it is. Palmer's over there just losing. And what a game. Boston has 4.2 to win it. Timeout. Anyway, everybody scored in double figures for Sacramento. It's a bonus, man. He's a freak. And Malik Monk, how about 20 and 9 assists? That's not good for De'Aaron Fox. That's not good for his value. And Rick, what are we doing with Keon Ellis, man? Have you moved on?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Once Malik Monk came back, I think he missed a game with that, whatever he had, right? And once he came back and Keon Ellis went to the bench, that was it. Because I can't, like, I'll stream Keon Ellis. He had 8 points, 2 steals, 1 block, 1 3. All right. Like, on a 3-game Thursday night, yeah, I'll pick up Keon Ellis and put him in my lineup. But I can't, like, and Kevin Huerter, Doc. Kevin Huerter, he played 6 minutes tonight, okay? The previous games, he wasn't playing at all. Like, dude, Doug Christie is going Tom Thibodeau on this ish in Sacramento, bro. He is leaning into his 5 and going to war with these guys. And Keon Ellis right now is his 6th man. You got a little bit of Trey Lyles. Doug Christie is basically going with his 7-man rotation right now.
Derrick Jones Jr. just threw Derek White's 3-pointer into the stands.
I'm a little bit behind you right now. I've got it up on League Pass as well.
Dude, this is ridiculous. Derrick Jones Jr. is having a night, but that's because Clippers sat everybody. We didn't talk about it ahead of this Golden State game, but this should have been a big reunion/revenge game for Buddy Hield. He was all right. 5 triples, 17 points. Steph Curry and De'Aaron Fox, very disappointing. You know, it should have been a battle of those guys just shooting it out. And Fox couldn't make a shot. Curry only took 11 shots. Meanwhile, Andrew Wiggins is out there pumping it up 20 times. 5 3-pointers, 25 points. The box score is ridiculous, as always, all the way down the line. 14 minutes. The bench minutes are just ludicrous. You know that commercial where Ludacris goes, "Don't call something ludicrous, I'm ludicrous." And then the sink explodes and Ludacris goes, "Now that's ludicrous." This box score is ludicrous. It's ridiculous.
It is. Again, we've got 10 guys playing at least 13 minutes. 10 guys. And then Kevon Looney, as a starter, played 9 minutes. Steve Kerr has lost his way, Bill Belichick style. I've been saying it. I've been trying to tell you. These rotations are clueless. Dennis Schroeder came off the bench tonight. Told you that wasn't going to work. He had 7 points, 5 assists in 21 minutes, the same line he would have as a starter. Trace Jackson-Davis off the bench tonight, and you know what? He was fantastic. 11 and 8 with a steal in 24 minutes. This makes no sense, okay? Dennis Schroeder was starting. Now all of a sudden, Gary Payton II plays 13 minutes in the starting five. What are you doing, bro? And I love the fact that the Golden State Warriors are 21-22. They are under 500. So I got nothing, okay? It's Curry against the world. I don't trust Buddy Hield. I know he had a pop game tonight. He'll go back to 8 or 9 points for the next couple of games. Then he'll have another pop game because Steve Kerr's not going to give him consistent minutes to allow him to gain traction in our fantasy lineups. So leave Buddy Hield on waivers. He is a streamer, okay? And here's what I'm doing, okay? Andrew Wiggins should be rostered, okay? Not like, oh my God, but I mean, he should be rostered. Steph Curry, obviously. Buddy Hield, waiver wire. Kevon Looney, waiver wire. Gary Payton II, waiver wire. Lindy Waters, waiver wire. Trace Jackson Davis, to me, is a roster guy, but it's borderline. Key Santos, waiver wire. Quinton Post, whoever the hell that is, waiver wire. Schroeder, waiver wire. Moses Moody, waiver wire. Pajemski, when he comes back, waiver wire. This whole team's a freaking waiver wire disaster.
Dude, and why didn't he play our guy Pat Spencer tonight, man? What
didn't get in the game?
What did Pat do to deserve this?
He had a turnover in practice, Doc. He failed on a defensive rotation in practice, and so Steve Kerr's got to send him in. All right. Let's move on to this last game, Doc, and we can give the people some updates too here. Overtime is underway at Intuit Dome, 103-103. What's left of the Celtics against what's left of the Clippers. And Doc, this game is so perfectly and I guess predictably ironic because let me read you and the people who is in and out of this game. But before I do want to tell you guys to download the Sports Ethos app. It's completely free. Go to your favorite app store, download the Sports Ethos app. Keeps you updated on all the news you need to win your fantasy baseball, NFL, or of course, NBA teams. So again, Sports Ethos app. Download it right now at your favorite app store. Doc, for Boston, no Drew Holiday, no Kristaps Porzingis, no Al Horford. For the Clippers, no James Harden, nor Norman Powell, no Kawhi Leonard, no Ivica Zubac. Brown and Tatum did play for Boston, okay? They're main guys, all right? And so but I love that because these guys love to play, they love the game and all that kind of stuff. But of course, in a shorthanded against shorthanded situation, we would have what may turn into the game of the night in the NBA tonight. That's just how it goes sometimes.
Well, and I mean, of course I loaded up on Boston and I thought Tatum and Brown were going to go off, but I also thought Derrick Jones Jr. was going to play well. I knew Amir Coffey was going to be good. I knew Kevin Porter was going to be good, and they all were, dude. Derrick Jones Jr. is out of his mind right now. 26 points, 3 triples, 6 boards, 3 assists, 3 steals, a block in my 30 deep lineup with James Harden and Norman Powell and Kobe White out of my lineup. And then Amir Coffey in my lineup with 21 points, 2 boards, 2 assists, a steal. Kevin Porter. Anytime Harden's out, you got to have Kevin Porter in your lineup. He's sort of like Scottie Pippen when Ja Morant doesn't play. He's 11-19 with 24 and 7 assists and 3 steals. And I need a couple more points out of Tatum and Jaylen Brown here, please, and a Boston win. But we're great game, dude. I've been watching this game during our show, and I'm just like, man, I might have to rewind the DVR and just watch it again. It's been awesome.
It is currently 112-105 Boston over the Clippers in overtime. There's 2:55 to go in OT. 9-2 is the Boston scoring edge in OT right now. Shout out to Kevin Porter Jr., Doc. This is a stat line. Kevin Porter Jr. is a tremendously talented player. He has had a 50-point game in this league. He is a PRA stud when he's getting the appropriate minutes. And tonight he is 24, 5 and 7, 3 steals, 2 threes, 11 of 19. He's played 36 minutes. It's just a reminder that Kevin Porter Jr. is a hell of a player. And it was a really smart ad by the LA Clippers. They haven't needed him a whole lot this year. I mean, he's playing his I don't know, 15 to 20 minutes a game off the bench, but that's a strong bench player right there. Mo Bamba not doing anything tonight, filling in for Zubats. Terrence Mann plays 800 minutes for a paltry 11-5-5 line. One of the worst statistical players I've ever seen in my life. Sorry, Terrence Mann. I didn't mean for you to catch a stray. Just saying. But Doc, 3 players for the Boston Celtics with 20 plus. And overtime is not good for Thursday night, Boston, LA, Doc, because Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, right, they're not resting tonight. They're out there playing, and these guys love to play. They're great availability guys, great attendance guys, but hopefully they're not sapping too much energy to take some steam out of that Celtics-Lakers game on Thursday night.
Nah, it's still going to be a great game. Tatum and Brown will be up for that. The Lakers are going to be up for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully it's as good as this game has been tonight, because this is awesome. Rick, let's let the people go watch the end of this game and get out of here. Let's roll.
For Dr. A, for our great producer, Andre Lamouche, I am Rick Kamla. Thank you guys so much for watching the Fantasy NBA today. Our trade deadline show is going to be bigger and better than ever. We're going live at 9:30 a.m. Eastern on Thursday, February 6th with wall-to-wall coverage of the trade deadline. And this show right here is proudly presented by Bet Online. We'll see you soon.